Hello, it's me. How are you doing? I am back at home, or whatever the current place we call home is, and I wanted to make a video for you. And this is the follow-up video, that I thought about in relation to you when I was driving home. So, this is one of the things because I really did make a really nice video, and I tried uploading it twice, and it took like an hour and a half to maybe almost 2 hours, and that's being kind. It was more like 3 hours each time, and both times it failed, and so that was really disappointed because I was like, oh no. Anyways, so what I did is I sent you that little short video and the music video because it was a nice song. And so I was just sharing that with you. Okay. So what I wanted to talk with you about is you touched on a few things, and like I said, I listened to you. So I'm going to touch on a few things. Okay. Thing one, you resent that I recorded you. Okay. And I fully agree with you, because of what I did. And really, there is no excuse for what I did. Okay. What I did was based on fear and lust. Okay. And there is no excuse for what I did, but I had fear and I had lust in me. Okay. What I can tell you is I've let go of that, and I had to let go of the fear inside of me. Lust part, that's healthy if you're only in a relationship. But, so that's in suspended. Okay. I think that's a possibility, but only in a relationship. Okay. So anyways, I agree with you though. And again, there is no excuse. So I'm not making an excuse. But that's what I mean. I'm not sure how to say I'm sorry. Or to let you know that I have not done that again, and I would not do that again. Okay? And I think that's important. And yes, I know I'm looking all around when I'm talking to you, but I do believe it's important. Okay? Because I would like you to trust me. I know it's going to be challenging. And when I shared that I watched those videos from Richard Grannon and the names of the videos, that's why I try to communicate with you a little bit, some sparkles of hope. And sparkles of hope, what I mean by that is go on the idea of a reverse fractal. What I mean by that is if, you have a little bit of evil or badness in you and you allow it to happen, it's going to continue. Or you don't seem like you have control of it, it's going to continue. But if you have some goodness in you and you build on that goodness, likewise, that goodness can also continue to grow. And I believe by doing that, you can heal. Okay? And that's what I've been attempting to do in various ways. Because something, this is the thing that we talk about. I've always felt injured by my parents. And I just had this talk again today with my parents because I had a fight when I left you that video. And I just walked off, and instead of, fuming or anything, I sent you a video and I just talked to you and discussed things with you. Okay? And that was completely different than anything I've ever done before. And that was growth. And that's why I was upset that I wasn't able to share the video with you. So that's kind of stinks. Anyways, it's important doing two things: understanding the environment that I've been in, but also growing to understand it, and also not do the same things again, or allow them to happen, or understand what they are. And what I recognized is whenever I went all nutty on you and evil and ugly on you, that I was missing something coming from my parents. And, or being exposed to all of that. And, there was still stuff that perhaps I didn't shed out of me. So that potential energy was there. The ugly was just stored up like a battery. Okay? Not excusing my behavior at all, because I was like, why did I do that? And the trigger that I allowed to happen was for me to feel ashamed of myself and lonely. That was the trigger that could build up, that built up inside of me. And I felt, a combination of those things, like feeling abandoned, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to talk about me. I just want to relay to you. I did not like what happened, okay, or how I was. And the way you see me now, this is what I mean by conspiracy theory. I'll go off on a slight tangent, I'll come back. But, like I told my mom, when we came back from driving, from getting her teeth fixed, I said, he isn't changing whatsoever. I said, if you can't manage the small things, how are you expected to do anything else? And I was explaining how he's making messes and leaving it to us, and it was just a continuation of what he's always done. And by doing that, I was letting them understand that, you can still see plainly. Because all that sourness of them arguing every day, back and forth every day, and that was a source of an argument between my father and I. It's like, I don't want to be exposed to this every day. And I said, you guys are fighting every day. And what I was doing by that was challenging, confronting, talking about, pointing out the obvious, and letting them see this. You see? Just bringing it to consciousness and letting them discover what it is they need to do. Because, I don't wish to continue, and I'm holding my own against them because I'm not playing the game. Okay? Whereas before, my feelings would feel bad and all this. And see, this is the thing. My shield is up. My armor is up. And I resent having to do that. I resent having to have to live like that in relation to my parents. And I recognize that. Okay? And so I had to address that within myself. And then I had to forgive my parents, their shortcomings, their same thing that they always done, that they always do. And they're going to do it for the 78th time, 79th, 7 times 77th. Yeah, I think this one is for the record books here. you know? And so me knowing that I have to live in relation to that, I have to personally grow as not to allow them to aggravate me whatsoever. And I mean that by not cutting myself off, by not letting them hurt me. Because the only emotions I had, if I open myself up and become vulnerable, that means my emotions are opened up. And that means the person can hurt me, okay? And, I know for certainty that I cannot be vulnerable around my mom or my father. And I categorize being vulnerable just like being a fully authentic human being, like having emotions and fun and laughter and joy, and not live in fear of ridicule or shame or belittlement or, oh, you haven't done this and you haven't done that. And even if you're having fun, bring the moment down by, oh, tomorrow's going to be doomsday of some sort, And I point this out to both of them because they're both doing it and they're both exhibiting it. And I'm pointing this out to you to let you know this is what I've been doing. This is the next level of the crucible, okay? This is me talking to them so they, and just, witnessing, saying this is what I see. This is what I encounter. This is my experience. And letting them decide whether they want to do anything about it. Because if they do, they choose life. And if they don't, you're choosing death, going down one direction or the other. Because as you go through life, you basically jettison all the bad stuff over time. And that is the growth of the soul over time, okay? Whatever it be, and it's probably different for every individual. Now, the thing is with you and I, is I am very sorry, okay? I can let you know, and I understand that this is no consolation, but I can let you know nobody has ever heard anything but you and I. Nobody, ever. Also, this doesn't change anything, but it isn't just you, it's you and I. Okay? Again, doesn't change anything. But you may think about it in this way. I knew that I had issues. I needed to work through these issues. I needed to understand it and get through it, okay? Also, I used it as attraction, eroticism towards you for the time being that it was. And it's completely wrong. But nevertheless, that's what I had done, okay? I also want to say, look, I'll just be frank and open. What I did was wrong and I can't undo what I did. But never, under any circumstances, would I ever do such a thing, okay? Never. And I think that's pretty important. That being said, circumstances have changed, and I don't think I need to dive too much deeper into that than never would you ever have to worry about me in any way, shape, or form in relation to anybody for that matter, okay? And I've been the person working on this all this time, and growing. See, one of the things that you may or may not know from that lecture series I took, because you talked about being a psychopath, and that's a funny one. Not funny, haha, but funny as in the idea that in that lecture series that I took, the guy identified that in fact there are actually very good psychopaths out there. Meaning if you categorize them only as having feelings. And what I realized is I'm not a psychopath, but I have the capacity to be a psychopath because I have to use it as a shield to protect myself. Otherwise, I'd be somehow injured psychologically, spiritually, religiously, whatever ugliness being thrown at me by my parents, either my mother or my father. And so I use it as a protective shield because I learned early in life, if you did not have any feelings, you could not be hurt. Okay? And so I have a very effective protective shield, but unfortunately that morphed into, oh, well, I could be this way on top of everything. But you see, I have the capacity to have feelings and love and joy and everything, okay? I'd like to be able to exercise those with you and grow with you, And I'm not, this isn't some weird, and I'm like, wow, if you think about me these ways, I'm like, oof, how can I even say that I'm like, this is me trying to be an authentic me? That's why I was like, if you see that this is really who I am, and I'm just like not making stuff up whatsoever, or gaslighting or doing anything weird, you might like me. And if you understood how I felt about you and had always felt about you, and how a few things got messed up. So yes, some things happened, okay? And I think I should address them as I can. The other thing that you mentioned was you did not like, I hope I addressed my recording you, okay? The reasons why. And it does not change what I did. But what I can say is no, you would not have to worry about me doing anything like that ever again, okay? Except with your permission, like, hey, here's us in front of something. I don't know, a picture of a tree or something. Whatever, like normal people do, vacation photo type thing. Anyways, so there's that. What else? You said about meeting in person, and I know that impacted you, our very first meeting in person. And we've gone back and forth, and back and forth. There's no excuse about me and my behavior. I was still very much twisted up inside. Very much so. Okay. What else? And at that time we were not talking too much about like deeper issues because neither you or I had, there were certain things that you and I were not talking about. And I noticed that because we were still trying to figure things out. And when I saw you for the first time, I was surprised and shocked. Okay, doesn't change my behavior. And the only way I can say that is the only photos I had received of you were other pictures. Okay, and you were thin, and when I saw you in person, you were a different person, okay? And, I was really hard pressed because I didn't understand. Okay? You never mentioned what you were going through. And I did not have emotional capacity to digest it. Okay? And I thought you had lied to me. Okay? And that's what I was like, because remember, we were both afraid to see each other, both afraid to meet each other. There was all those weird stories going around. And, all of that was happening. So, that's why I was shocked. Okay? And I understand that you may not feel, because maybe internally you were feeling like you're the same. And, internally, yes, you probably were the same. But you had gone through some stuff and it reflected on your outer person. Okay? As a reaction for trauma. Okay? From me, from what you're going through, etc. Okay? And, excuse me. And I didn't understand that. I didn't know anything about that. And that's, my reactions were, I didn't even know, and you even capitalized on that. I didn't know who you were. If you were being your aunt, or if you were somebody older pretending to be younger, and, what was all of that about? And some, there was some weird stuff going on there that I got confused on. And again, it doesn't change my behavior, but I did not also understand how to handle my emotions. I lacked the vocabulary to be able to even talk about my feelings. And even now, with my vocabulary, it still didn't help my feelings too much. And so, but now, like right now, I'm able to put words to my emotions much better. And that's helpful for me to communicate accurately, something that you're already used to. See, that's what certain things like that make you more advanced than I do. And I recognize that because you've had a much better vocabulary than I have. And that's one of the big differences. You have a much bigger vocabulary, but I would say I have probably more experiences. The only difference is I did not have the vocabulary to explain or convey those experiences in a decent manner. Okay? So that's a big, issue, had been. Anyways, going back to these things. And I hope that helps. Because I'm not trying to say these things to say, but let you understand that I know about them. Okay? And I reasoned that I can get back in touch with my feelings, and it would take me probably about 3 days of not listening to what's going on with my parents, and then I could be back in touch with myself again, and just kind of, then you would see me for, not having to have my armor up, then I could talk to you openly and just be with you and hang out with you, and I could do that with you. Okay? I could actually hang out with you without sex being on the table. Okay? And I mean that. And, because I thought about it. When I when I hunkered down, I knew I was going in the wrong direction because I was taking pills for my pills. And that's when I knew I was going in the wrong direction. Okay? And I'm hoping you're grasping that too. And I'll fully admit my role in things, fully admit everything. But what I can convey to you is I've been learning. Remember when I said I really wanted to be a better person for myself? Not in a narcissistic way, but better in all the better ways a person can be. And that way I could be the best person for you or anybody, okay? And there's something about me that frightens you, and you told me that. And you know, this is the thing. Just visiting the past, you visited me before, and you were okay, okay? You could visit me again, and I could meet you and talk with you, and no weird stuff, no bad stuff, not me pretending, which I think is most important. But, you know, understanding that, I'm sorry, I went off because I was thinking, understanding that I enjoy you, you enjoy me, and let me throw out that wager. If you like me, if I like you, if there is some sort of compatibility, then at very minimum, now this is the minimum, you would feel comfortable, you would feel good, you would feel, at ease inside about me. And if at minimum you felt at ease about me, then there would be no uneasiness transferred over to your dog, okay? I would be taken out of the equation for your uneasiness, okay? And I think that's pretty important, because if I'm such a major factor, you understanding and really not understanding only here, but also here and here, that I was okay and genuinely okay, and sincere, you know? I think, you know, authentic, sincere, knowing that I'm headed in the right direction, that I'm sure I am not up to your standards. We both know that. Okay, because there's always room for improvement. But at the same time, you know, also understand that I'm actually invested in doing this earnestly also, okay? Which is quite different than any other person that I've ever seen. See? If you're very good at pain and handling high capacities of pain, why not turn it towards learning about all your bad stuff and heal from it? Ta-da! That's my secret. I'm very good at pain and handling large amounts of pain for long periods of time. It's my specialty. And so I've used that gift because I could usually outlast most people. To be with my parents, to get to the root of things that originated before I was even on this planet. Now you have to admit, that's going in the extra mile here than most people could ever do, you know. And I travel upwards even to my parents, and my parents' grandparents, you know, so, you know, through stories and tales. So I'm able to like navigate backwards in time a little bit and like root out their issues, which I've had conversations with my mom about. So important, deep stuff and how it relates back to me. Because using the Bible as a guide, it helps us be as best possible as we can and clean us the best possible. And with the understanding that you have to get past resentment and you have to get past disgust. Getting past disgust means cleaning your own toilet bowl with a toothbrush and not feeling any disgust about it whatsoever. That's a big one. Most people don't get there. Okay? So that's a big one. So now mine's even further because I'm not only cleaning the toilet bowl that I use, I'm cleaning the toilet bowl that my parents use without disgust. You see? So, you'd be surprised on how that delves into a lot of things. Okay? So, going back to you and I hope that I addressed the three major things: fantasy stuff, recording stuff, and the other one. Okay, so yes, my memory's like, you know that and I know that. I'll come back around and remember what it is in a minute. But how does this tie to conspiracy theory? If you have conspiracy thinking, you think there's things you don't know. You even said, ooh, you haven't told me things. I want to ask you things, right? Did you not? So you are engaging in conspiracy thinking and you're applying it to me. You don't know things and you want to know things. Okay? And trust comes in the idea that, let's see, what would trust come in the idea? Is I will tell you things. Things are okay. What things would you like to know? And what else? Everything's okay. Okay? So when I say that, you either trust my statement or you say, oh, no, I know for certain there's something else going on here, right? And then that goes down the whole conspiracy thing. Yes, I know conspiracy. So, that's what I mean. Okay, I'm a different person than you. I grew up differently. I have different standards, but my standards are not out of alignment with you. Okay? And we disagree on a few things. That's true. Okay? But, excuse me, but none of those things are through the roof. Okay? And that's why I say you can actually peel back the conspiracy away from me and not have to worry about applying conspiracy thinking to me. And I don't mean that in a bad way, just the moving from the unknown to the known without speculation. You see, the speculation is the thing that drives people nuts. That's why I don't speculate. I don't let my mind even go into speculation, like space aliens and what ifs and all that. And I mean that. And I do it for the sobriety of my mind. There's a wonderful film called Noah's Ark that came out in 2014. And, because the last days, they could be like Noah. So I just watched the film the other day, a really good film. I'll get the thing and screenshot it. You've probably seen it already. But anyways, same ideas. Straightforward talking is very important. Okay? And I'm certainly nowhere where you're at. But at the same time, I have attributes and positive qualities, you know. And now that I know more about you, you know, you've seen me. So here we go. Here's the sales pitch. You see my pictures of my cat. I've been prostituting my cat, okay? You can see that she's happy and she's healthy and she's doing fine. Her and I have a tiff every now and then, but it's nothing major. And if you're anywhere as finicky as my cat, you can see that, you know, I get along with her very well, okay? So that's a positive indicator, I would think. I hope. Okay? And if I can adjust and work with you, there's a good chance you could adjust, work with me, knowing we both come from a place of love, not making any more apologies about the past, but bringing it up and fully saying, hey, look, I understand it, and I'm not going to repeat it ever for any reason or anything new, okay? And we'll look to each other to figure out, we could figure out a very easy way to talk with each other in a very loving way, in a nice way, and be able to work through these things. But you have to also be open. And I think that might be interesting challenge for you, okay? But it's worth the growth, okay? So anyways, that's something to offer. And, you know, here comes the cheap shot. Do it for the dog, okay? And I don't mean that as a cheap shot, but I was like, man, if I make any appeal whatsoever, she's gonna think that I'm like appealing and using the dog as a lever. No, I've long been a dog person and a dog lover, and ever since I was a child, okay, always. And, you know, I saw what happened to Butch, you know, what happened to Oscar, you know, things like that. And I don't want your dog feeling bad. And that's why I was saying at minimum, you'd feel okay about me. And I think that would be a really good thing, a real positive thing. And again, I'm not selling you anything, I'm not charging you anything, I'm not doing anything other than just speaking with you, okay? Because that's something worth, you know, talking about. Leaving the world out of it for right now, because that's really most important too. But also peeling away the conspiracy theory. It would be like you and I being able to go back and dig through the records of JFK personally, or you and I would be able to go back and sift through the 9/11 information and see what's there, if it's really there, okay? But doing it in love with each other, and that is a big growth and a very good thing, okay? And I think that's something worth trying. I know you don't believe this, but I do love you, okay? And I'm not as much of a crazy person as you think I am, not nearly, except in love with you. And I like that, and I like being that way with you, okay? So, I'm making sure this video doesn't go super long. I'm going to round it up now so I could hopefully upload it for the rest of the night. And have a good night. I probably missed a few things and didn't talk about anything correctly, but I hope you understand, okay? Okay? I'm helping try to get through and past and onto with you something else. And I'm just setting it out there and see, okay? Because I would be a very good person for you in that way. You'd be surprised. And no, I'm not going to let you have any questions. No, I'm not going to let you talk to me and say, what about this and what about that? I'd be like, hey man, everything's good. You'd be surprised. Okay? So, thank you for listening to me. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. I hope you know that I do and have taken things serious. Because I laugh or smile, I'm just conveying a nice, upbeat sentiment. But I do take what I did to you seriously. And I am ashamed, not happy, and not making any excuses and all of that. No, you would never have to worry about that in any form, anything. Okay? Because I found a good way through, which is if you heal yourself and if you love yourself, not in a narcissistic way, but in a nice, happy, authentic, good way, none of that stuff needs to be happening because you're in alignment with God and walking on God's path. Ta-da! Yes, and I know you've known this all the time, but without fear. I don't think God doesn't want us to be afraid. If you're walking with God and authentically doing it, there's nothing to be afraid about. And that's a good thing. Okay? Love you. Talk to you soon. And now I'm closing this 2 minutes after I